Now, so there's one more thing, okay? So this is special. This is the end of the show. And they add like one more thing. They call it the last problem, but it's like the final episode. And oh man, I remember I was watching this live and I didn't realize they were like separate episodes. And I was like, wow, this is like, so crazy. We're going to go through this. We're going to look at how they move past this huge event. And then we're going to really finish it up and wrap it up. It's just, they end it so well. There's like no words for it, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll clear off this board, but I want you guys to really, like, oh my God, this stuff is so game-changing. And like once you understand it, it is so huge, because you can change like every piece of behavior you have to sync up your life with the mastermind. And the moment that you do that, it changes everything. It shifts the whole paradigm and allows you to have such a massive, massive impact on so many people by giving it everything you've got in a very specific way, right? Like towards like one unanimous goal. And so for her, like this one thing, you've got to have one thing. So for her, like this was friendship, right? And she said friendship to the entire world around her and had a huge impact on every single person on the planet. So for you, think of what this one thing could be. Think about what the one shift you want to make is. What's that one goal you can work towards? And then put all the efforts and energies of the group over and over and over and over. Not for a short period of time. You know, they didn't freaking become rulers of Equestria in a month. They didn't become rulers of Equestria in a year. It took a decade for them to do it. But at the end of it, it's worth it. So worth it. Because they're top of the freaking world. Because they put in that consistent effort over and over and over and over again to just do it. And it changed everything for them. That's the power of this collective mastermind principle. It's just huge. So if you can master it, it'll totally freaking change everything. So yeah. That's anything on part 2. Let's move on now to the last problem, and then I think we'll finish it up, which is really just crazy exciting. I love these guys. They totally over-delivered with this last one. And what this does is it really takes this concept of going super hard with the mastermind, and it shows sort of the growth of it, right? So if you need to take a minute, pause, reflect on this 100%, and we'll make this sort of the next module. The next part, this is really the final part, is getting this next step of growth, next step of development, and moving on not only to like, initial or temporary significance, but really it's this idea that like you want to keep going hard for decades, right? For years and years and years and years and years as a collective group, so you can have this huge impact. So this huge impact only comes to those who stay freaking committed. You can't quit 40% of the way there. You can't quit 5 years in. If you quit 5 years in, Twilight never becomes leader of the entire freaking world. It will not happen if you stop. You have to keep going. You have to keep pushing. And so what this next one does, the last problem, is it really shows you how to turn any sort of success or mastermind movement into more of a actual lifelong collective growth movement, which is super huge and super powerful. So that's the next one. So the way this starts out is Twilight is like, this is like way in the future, okay? So Twilight's like super old, and well, not like old, but like she's like big and she's tall, and she basically looks like kind of how like Celestia looked, except she looks like Twilight, and you kind of see her in the picture. Like she's just like super mature, and she's like sitting in the throne room one day, just chilling out with Spike. Spike's still with her. Spike is like this big, swole muscle guy. You kind of see him in the picture. He looks super cool, and basically he like leads the School of Gifted Unicorns alongside Twilight, and they just kind of like rule the world together. It's pretty sweet. And this one student comes in. Their name is Lusterdawn. Lusterdawn comes in, and she walks up to the princess, and she's like one of Twilight's best students in the School for Gifted Unicorns, which is basically what Twilight grew up in, right? She grew up under Celestia in the School for Gifted Unicorns, and it's like the same thing happening again and again. The cycle repeats. The mentor becomes the mentee becomes the mentor. And then mentee, and then so powerful, so huge. And it's just this huge, long, progressive journey. And so she comes in and she says, she loves the school, she loves the education, it's awesome, but she's not a fan of the emphasis on friendship, and she doesn't see it as a worthwhile, long-lasting thing to pursue. And she thinks it's like a waste of time or something like that. And so Spike and Twilight are like, what? And Spike's like freaking out. He's like, what are you talking about? It's the coolest thing ever. But they realize that they can't just say that. And they have to actually let her understand why that is. And so they spend this time here telling him about what happened when Twilight years ago was actually becoming princess and her coronation and all that stuff. And so it basically, the whole episode, at least most of the episode, is flashbacks and just stories. So basically what they start out with is talking about Twilight, and she's trying to show her how friendships can last, and that they're not a waste of time, and that they're really, really important. And so it shows her in her castle packing up all of her books, everything that she has, basically all her belongings, she's putting in boxes and getting ready to move into the royal castle and live there for basically the rest of her life. And she's sitting here on the floor weeping because she's getting ready to say, at least in her mind, goodbye to all of her friends, which is super, super crazy. And to her, that's everything she's been working for years of her life. And it's all she's so scared that it will fade away. And it's so difficult for her to say goodbye. And as this is going on, Spike says, hey, you should talk to your friends about it. You should actually come together, be transparent with your emotions, be transparent with your feelings, be truthful with each other. And so you've got the rest of the main 6 over here, and they're all sort of working on their own thing. So again, this coronation is going on, and there's going to be this big event in Canterlot, and basically you're going to have Celestia and Luna, and then they're going to crown Twilight in front of everybody in the whole world, the new princess of the world, after the huge fight from before. And so Applejack is supposed to make the drinks for everybody. Everyone's going to get apple juice. Rainbow Dash is supposed to do the weather and stuff. Fluttershy is supposed to get a bunch of animals and birds to sing and drop her crown on her head and stuff like that. Rarity is supposed to make her dress, and you've got Pinkie Pie, who's just supposed to do the general party decoration and stuff like that. I mean, just her thing. And they're all focusing and working super, super, super hard, and they're going really, really, really hard and focusing all of their energy and their effort on doing their one task to actually come to this ceremony and to have an impact. And they're putting all their energy on it and focusing exclusively on themselves instead of actually talking to Twilight and listening to Twilight and hearing her say, stepping back and hearing her say, hey, she's having a really tough time here. Maybe we should actually listen to her, right? And instead they're just focusing on their own thing, and they're not really working as a unit anymore, which is challenging. It's tough. And so she's like, what's going on? Why are you guys doing this? And she's talking about how she feels really, really, really left out, and how they feel she just tells them she feels like she's not cared about. She doesn't have a feeling of significance, a feeling of importance. And she tells them, she voices her frustrations that she's about to leave everything she has and get on a train to leave forever. And she tells them why don't you guys care? And they all come together to Twilight, and they tell her that they care more than anything else, and that it crushes them to see her go, and they feel awful to send her off, and they're devastated internally to see her leave, and they're trying to just focus on their own stuff so that they won't have to actually embrace the sad and harsh reality. That's when they connect. That's when they really start to understand each other, because they realize that they have their own challenges, they have their own distractions, their own difficulties, and in reality, they're all going through the exact same thing. They all feel off about this separation. But they know that it has to happen, right? It's this next stage of her life. Twilight's been working and working. The main stage has all been working. And now it's just time for this new stage where Twilight can actually achieve, her maximum potential and become the freaking ruler of the world. And that has to happen. They can't move that line. They can't shift that paradigm. They can't stop it from happening. It's going to happen one way or another. And the best thing they can do is just come together as friends and let it happen. So, she goes over here, she goes to Canterlot, and she's getting ready. And what happens is really interesting, and it shows the insane power of these quality relationship assets in any situation, and more importantly, over the course of significant situations. So, basically, like, these guys just, they mess up a bunch of stuff, and it's a big mess, and everyone gets confused, and it's a lot of stuff to coordinate, and a lot of stuff just doesn't work out, and they all, like, get on the train, and they follow her, and they abandon what they were supposed to do so that they can spend time with their friends, which isn't the best thing ever. And they all get here, and they're, like, in the back trying to set up Twilight, and Applejack trying to give out juice and stuff, and, you know, Fluttershy's got all her birds, and basically, like, you know, Fluttershy forgot food for her birds, and Applejack sent apples sauce instead of, you know, apple cider to the receptionist. And, you know, the spiders that Rarity has are, like, going crazy, and there's just a huge mess everywhere. And basically the way this coronation goes is Twilight walks out in her dress, and she just, like, trips on herself, falls over, gets back up, and then she comes out, and, you know, these birds are supposed to, like, carry the crown on their head, but there's, like, 2 birds left because the rest of them were super hungry, and they all, like, left. And it's just this huge mess. And then Rarity put, like, these spider silk things on her dress, and the spiders, like, scare away the birds, so the birds, like, fly away, and they drop Twilight's crown, and, like, it plops on her face, and it's a huge mess. She has to fix everything. And then everybody who's, like, there to watch, like, has applesauce poured into their jars instead of apple cider, and it's just this massive catastrophe, huge mess everywhere. And at the end of it, like, she's the new ruler of the world, and her and her friends just laugh it off, like, it's the funniest thing ever, because it doesn't really matter. She just became the ruler of the planet. It doesn't matter if the drinks were wrong, and they just laugh it off, and they realize that, like, the best thing they could have here is enjoyment with themselves and all these snacks, because it's more important that they are there together than that they're there, you know, perfectly. Perfection doesn't freaking matter. The only thing that matters is that this happens, and it happens. The power gets transferred to her. She becomes ruler of the freaking world, and it's okay that there's a couple of mishaps. It's okay that there's a couple of mistakes on the way. It's not a big deal. And then, oh my gosh, it's just so amazing, so powerful. And so then it kind of cuts back into reality, and, you know, this lady, she, Luster Dawn, you know, she says, okay, well, that's cool, but, like, didn't it just, like, fade away forever after that? And then as soon as she says that, like, the older versions, like, of the main 6, or the other rest of them, they walk in, and they say, of course not. And they explain to Lustros that every single month since then, they've always come together in Canterlot for a mastermind meeting, for a council of friendship, to come together as groups and to maintain their relationships and their connections together, to be with each other every single month. Like, this is literally the definition of a mastermind. I don't know what to tell it to you guys. And so, like, that's the way they maintain their relationship. That's the way they maintain their connections. That's the way they stuck together as a team throughout the years, as they had families, as they had lives, as they did new things in their careers. Every single month they would come back together in person to stay in touch and be with each other and maintain the quality of those relationships and leverage the power of the mastermind to solve the challenges that they had and to overcome their feats and reach new levels of success as a group and as a team and as a friendship unit. And then they flash back to this coronation after everything has just gone south and it's been crazy. And they show the rest of the main 6. They made Twilight this book to give her as a gift for, you know, her leaving for this new land. And as they give her this gift, it's this huge book, and it's a book of all the memories and all the amazing things that they've done together as a team, as a group. And in this book, there are just so many pictures of all the things they've done together as a team and all the journeys they've been through and all the adventures they've had and all the cool things they've done together. And it's a symbol of memories that she can always look at whenever she misses her friends. A symbol of happiness, a symbol of positivity. And also a memento and an item to always remind her that she will be part of this group. And they will be together as a team. They'll be together as a unit. They will maintain the relationships and stick with each other and grow them over time. They will not fade away over time, but instead, you'll have a meeting once a month, 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 a meeting once a month. And the relationships in the mastermind, right? You got your mastermind strength. This mastermind will get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger over time because of consistent, repetitive monthly meetings that are going to allow them to continue to build their relationships after they've already grown them so much. Like, they're already ridiculously high here, and now they're using this as a symbol, like, to understand that they will continue to meet every single month over and over and over and over again. And that's how they maintain the mastermind. That's how they maintain the relationships, how they maintain the connections, is through constant monthly meetup. That's literally a principle you could go out, apply today, and create a life-changing mastermind that would, with any, like, group of quality individuals in any aspect of your business or your personal career. Anything you want is right there within reach. All you have to do is form those memories, turn those memories into a mastermind, have this collective friendship group, as a team, make the decision to look past stuff that maybe isn't perfect and instead look towards a brighter future where you have continuous collective growth over and over and over again by leveraging the insane magic of the unit, of the collective, of the group, of the team. And then, Leslie does, she gets it. She understands. She realizes that she could be just like Twilight. Because in reality, Twilight was literally in her shoes just 9 seasons ago. This is exactly where Twilight used to be, looking up at the greatest leaders on the planet. And the only thing that separated her from where she stood that day when she was a little kid, entering magic school, opening up the shell for Spike, and proving her entrance exam into magic school, where she like exploded the roof and Celestia had to come and calm her down. The only difference between that old child version of Twilight and this Luster Dawn right here is time and a mastermind. And if you can form this mastermind, you can have this connection, you can have this power base, you can have this group of people that will change everything, and just foster it repetitively with time, and have that meeting every single month. Or, if you're closer together, every single week, I try every single week just for closer relations, but every month works well. Over and over and over with the most powerful mastermind that you can develop, and just focus on growing that one thing for the rest of your life. It'll change absolutely everything and create a relationship asset that will totally shift your entire life. It's so powerful. And the proof in here is really in the shift that the Twilight's had over the course of this series, over the course of the show. Over her entire life, she went from absolutely freaking nothing, small little town, in the middle of nowhere, to the most successful leader in the entire planet. And, I mean, if that's not, game-changing, then I don't know what is. It's huge. So that's the foundation. That's the core concept here. And that's how Twilight, literally changed everything in her life. It was all based not on her own growth, but it was based on one single thing, and that was by leveraging the friends and relationships and the community around her and building quality relationship assets that lasted, and masterminds that maintained their strength throughout time, pressure, persistence, challenges, and freaking changed the world as she knew it. So with that said, I want to finish this off with the last song of the show, and this is how they end the show. And it's just a game changer. So thank you guys so much for going through this course, going through this class, and learning about this. I hope it has freaking changed your life, because it's changed mine. It's changed so many students, and I'm so excited to share it with you. So go out there, apply, absolutely crush it, and we'll take this last one from heart, let it speak for itself. Thank you guys. I'll see you. Bye.
When I started out, I was unsure. I thought I knew all that I needed, didn't know what to expect. But when my walls came down, I saw the truth. All along something was missing, and I think you'll see it too. This is where the magic happens. This is where the magic lives. Our friendships weave together stronger. The bonds grow deeper, lasting longer. And the greatest value and it's something true to